2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
I feel like I'm all out of sorts today. That's why we're a couple minutes late. Legitimately went to get a cup of ice. Before I can even get to the water, I spilled all the ice. Now I'm trying to clean it up. So I got a broom, and I'm trying to rake the ice from underneath the cabinets. I pulled off the little filter system on the ice machine. So let's just say I'm having a day. But I'm happy to be here with Anson Wells. We welcome in Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Anson, how you feeling?
Happy to be here today,
Same.
but we are both winners and we are both losers, fortunately, today.
I assume you're talking about Michigan State?
I am.
Okay,
We
cool.
got cheated out of a legendary matchup
Yeah.
on Sunday, and unfortunately, neither of our teams will be playing this weekend.
They will not. We will get into that in the second hour because I want to get your take on this past weekend, as well as there's some interesting news out of Michigan State, East Lansing, if you will, with some people maybe not being there that year. But let's start with this. Today is April Fool's Day, but to us, it's Darren McCarty's birthday. Shout out to the great one,
Happy
DMac. Wants to say happy
birthday,
birthday to one of our
DMac.
teammates
birthday, buddy.
and one of the best teammates that ever existed. In fact, the greatest teammate who ever existed. We talked about him last week because it was DMac Day. Well, this is truly DMac Day because it is indeed his birthday. In the back wall, you saw what we talked about all last week. That's the fight that incited what the Red Wings did 4 Stanley Cups after that. But, you know, B-Day. Happy B-Day, DMac.
Can I give my late
Please.
dog, Clyde Frazier Wells, a shout out? Today is also his birthday, and of course, the lovely Natalia from Siberia.
You have to tell us a little more about that. That was kind of like,
well-
happy birthday, Natalia from Siberia.
Yeah, I would love for a whole lot more news to be told about that one day, but
You don't know anything
Okay.
else?
there is a wonderful birthday going down in Mexico right now. Shout out our Siberian queen.
All right.
You should tell your Russian story.
We'll leave it at that.
Natalia.
The Russian story is interesting.
It's a good one.
It is.
Thought I was getting sold into an industry, and I fortunately
Sex
made it
worker.
home. Well, no. My mom told me. I guess we're going into this.
We're off the
I'm going
rails
to
already.
late 90s, 97 actually.
Get in
So
this
it's
trunk,
basically
boy.
barely not communist Russia. I'm flying there, right?
Okay.
And my mom's like, "You're going to get sold in the slave trade. You're going to get sold in the slave trade." So we fly in.
Thanks, Mom.
And the girl that I was going with,
You're supposed to listen to mom.
Right.
man, and she wasn't that far off. So Natalia, the girl that I'm going out there with, she breaks it to me as we get off the flight in Helsinki, Finland. You're not driving with me or my parents. You're driving with my ex, and I'm driving with his best friend.
What?
It was
Set
yeah.
up.
They
You made it
Right,
out?
no.
they
kidding.
weren't best friends anymore because her new boyfriend got messed over by her old boyfriend, and so anyway, I'm in this little 19-year-old Russian car. I could hold each handle of the door like this.
Why was I seeing the same car?
We're
From, like,
driving for
Taken.
2
Right, no, totally.
hours into the Finnish forest,
Yeah.
right?
Right, wrong side of the road.
And the next thing you know, I see the 2 cars we're following go straight, and we turn down this gravel road, right? And we go for about 2 miles down this gravel road, and they pull into this gravel parking lot
Right.
with a lake behind this little cabin and the moon just glistening off of it. And Anthony gets out. He's like, "Anson, come with me. I have something to show
Oh,
you."
that was the accent.
And I'm like,
Okay. Romanian.
so I get out of the car, and I'm like looking at the woods on the other side of the road because I'm
Tales
about to
with
make a break
Anson
for
if
it.
you're just
Now it's
joining us.
midwinter
Tales
in
with
Finland,
Anson.
which is cold, by the way.
It's cold.
And so Volva or Vladimir gets out of the car, and he's like, "No, follow Anthony, follow Anthony." Anthony opens up the door to this cabin, and light just blasts out from the inside all over. It's pitch black in the middle of the night, 2 a.m, and there's ice laying on the ground everywhere, Braylon.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm backing
land
up.
this plane.
I'm backing up towards the woods. I am ready to literally go spend the evening running through the Finnish woods. And eventually, Anthony walks out with an armful of fresh fish. I did not get sold in the slave trade that day, but boy, for about 15 minutes, I thought for sure.
I know a lot of people out there were wishing you did so they didn't have to
Oh,
hear that
man.
story.
Every corn and blue
I'm-
fan in the chat right now wishes I never made it back.
Just joking. Maz, there is another thing that happened today, and you know what it is? A restaurant that was most notable for, let's just say, a certain part of a female's body is filing Chapter 11. Hooters
that's right.
is officially going out of business. Does anyone here have any Hooters stories?
That's horrible.
Or what was your favorite part of Hooters?
The chicken.
Not the Hooters.
Just the chicken.
Okay.
Chicken
Just
wasn't even
I mean,
that
listen,
good.
I live on the
Chicken.
east side. Have you ever been to the east side Hooters?
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Not a real Hooters.
You mean Roseville?
Yeah, not a real Hooters, Maz.
No, they were. That was a favorite establishment of mine.
Okay.
And
There we go, man. It's your turn.
I love you finding the right words to say that.
Anson and his Eastern Promises have had his turn. It is on you, sir.
there was nothing wrong with going to Hooters. I loved going to Hooters. I loved getting the drumsticks. I would order the drumsticks, and I would tear them up, man. They were great. A lot of great wait staff there.
Yeah.
They had great birthday parties there. I think I had one of my kids' birthday parties there.
Please tell me no.
Yes.
I gotta. I don't know if this is a popular opinion or unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion. Wings were overrated at Hooters.
Yes. I
Always
agree.
always
They're not
thought
worth
the
that
wings
good.
were overrated at Hooters.
They were
But
commercial.
the
Like,
chicken
They
sandwich
were commercial.
Okay.
was legit. The wings, not so much.
Wings very overrated. I thought
Yes.
the crab legs and the shrimp were both better than the wings. Just my opinion. Leave it to me to not go get wings at Hooters.
When I was in, let me think. Where were we? We were in
Miami was the best Hooters that I've been to. By the
We,
way.
we were
Miami.
in Denver. It was the Red Wings and the Avalanche. And so we traveled to Denver. So I'm out with Dan Dickerson, Steve Courtney, Ken Cal, and Paul Woods.
Oh yeah, this makes sense.
All right? And so the five of
this
us
is a good
go to
Hooters story.
Hooters in Denver. It was a very nice Hooters. And let's just say it was a real fun night. And that's all I remember from that night. Of course, I don't drink, as everyone knows. But I would always go out of my way to go to a Hooters.
That means-
I liked them.
The
I
fact
felt
that-
comfortable there.
The fact that you didn't drink means you remember all the stories.
I
You
do.
have
Oh, yeah.
all
Oh,
the
yeah.
I do.
stories. I used to
Oh, yeah.
not hate those people because hate is such a strong word. I used to
Yeah.
dislike those people. The
Right.
ones that would come
That
be
know
around and
everything.
hang out, but they never drank. So then, like a month, 2 months, a year later, they're calling. Like, hey,
drop
remember,
it down
remember
on
that
you.
one
Yep.
time?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yes.
I didn't until now.
The original's what? Down in Tampa? Isn't
Yeah,
the original
Tampa-
down
Tampa
in
and
Tampa?
Orlando, yeah.
I've been to that one as well.
Hey Braylon, you would
please
appreciate
do.
something real quick about about the same Hooters that Maz and I used to go to.
Is this a Romanian kidnap story?
No,
Okay.
because you're a golfer, right? So Jaguars, their drivers, the Jaguars driving range is connected to the parking lot of Hooters. So you go hit some balls and go get some wings. It was the best combo, man.
Nothing
It's
nothing
a
like
sad day.
It is for the Miami Hooters.
The tops or the bottoms? The orange bottoms or the white tank tops?
White tank
Which
tops.
one was it for you?
It depends on the girl.
Right.
Well, we know
how
that,
girl-
Rick.
girl basis.
White tank top.
Nah, I mean you don't go to Hooters to look at butts. So no.
Speak for
So
yourself,
what
sir.
are we talking about? What are we talking about?
There we go.
Let's get on pace because last night the Detroit Tigers, I had to switch it up for you one time for your mind. Maz, the Tigers.
Yeah.
Finally got one, man.
And I know
6
it's
runs
so
in the
happy.
first inning.
We know it's one game against the Mariners who haven't particularly played that well, but look, they hit the ball well against the Dodgers, and I think you saw more of that against the Mariners. Hancock had a very horrible first inning, 6 runs.
Yeah.
It looked good. Tell me about what you saw out of the Tigers last night.
Well, they played like I told you they'd play. If they weren't playing the Dodgers, they could win. They can win games. And it also helps when 3 of you guys get 3 hits apiece. One of them, Javi Baez.
Javi!
RBI.
Third base Javi,
How
baby.
about it? Javi's playing good on the field last night. 3 hits for him, 3 hits for Sweeney, 3 hits for Dingler, home run for Riley Green. It was a great night. Jackson Jobe went 4 innings, didn't get the win, but 4 innings, very good. Got his first strikeout in the first inning, and the bullpen took care of the rest. And it's a win. We'll take it. They get a rematch tonight against the Logan Gilbert, the ace of the Mariners. We give the ball to Casey Mize. So I'm looking for the Tigers to at least, well, they got 1 win at least going to the home opener on Friday. Remember how we said it would be horrible if they came home 0-6?
Yeah.
They
Well,
hurt us.
they're 1-3 so far, and moving on. They looked good last night. Let's see if they can win one tonight.
Anson, they start off 0-3, but those first 3 games are against the best team in the league, who is currently 6-0, the Los Angeles Dodgers. But you saw some good things in there. Last night, they get a good win, like Maz said. You see guys hitting the ball. It seems like not Chris Vedder is their only good coach on that team because they are seeing the ball well. Even Javi isn't reaching across the plate to try to make contact. What are you seeing from these Detroit Tigers as they're just making contact, it seems, in the first 4 games of the season?
To me, it's a case of overachieving and through coaching, realistically. What we've seen Hinch do with this team of a bunch of, it's like the beginning of Major League. Who the hell are these guys, And now we're starting to become more comfortable with them. We've gotten some pitching help, so it's not all pitching chaos. But you're just seeing guys fight in every at bat. You're seeing guys field stuff plus. Let's talk about Jackson Jobe yesterday. I mean, this team, you're getting so much out of everybody that's on the diamond, but then you got this just bevy of youngsters that you can either call up in the next couple of years, or you can make a move to get that veteran if they're competing at the trade deadline, which I suspect you will see these Tigers do. They won't be sellers this year. They will be buyers.
Yeah, now if you're talking about who are these guys as it relates to the Detroit fan base, now we know who these guys are because we remember what the run was last year. Riley Green, who had a home run last night, he played well last year. So there's a lot of familiarity with us, but the national scene, you're absolutely correct. They're trying to figure out who the hell the Tigers are. Speaking of Jackson Jobe, 4 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, he gave up a home run. What would you rank his outing, Maz? I'll go first. I think it was a C. Strong C. I don't think minus or B. I give it a strong 75.
Well, last year, of course, he debuted against the Astros in the playoffs, and we all were excited and holding our breath. Last night was his first official start in the regular season. I thought he did fine, man. He's got great electric stuff. Matt Broder loves him, so if Matt Broder loves him, I love him. Matt Broder loves Dylan Dingler. Dylan Dingler's, man, coming to play this season. This is a guy that really wasn't like a home run guy in high school and college. He comes here and he's starting to hit him. We could have our answer at catcher. And now Jake Rogers is still there. I do like Jake, but he is what he is, and he's the last piece of that Justin Verlander trade. So you try to hold on to him like grim death right now. But I like what the Tigers do. Like I told you guys, when they played the Dodgers, they led in every single game. They just didn't have enough horses to put that one away. Not many people do. They won again last night, the Dodgers. It's their best start since 1981. They won the World Series that year. I was there at Game 6 when they beat the Yankees, so I can tell you for sure that they won. That was a strike-shortened year, by the way, so I'm not even going to count that World Series.
MVP of that series, Maz?
MVP of that series? Could be. I think it was Ron Say, if I'm not mistaken. I know who the GOAT was. It was George Frazier of the Yankees, who lost 3 games in that World Series. He still holds the record.
Your memories.
Pete, I doubt that he is mistaken.
No, his memory's the best of all time. I love his freaking vault of memories.
Check it out.
Shout out to Tom Mazaway.
I think it was Ron Say. Check it out. Maybe I'm wrong.
Check it out. Tom Mazaway, our resident historian. With
He
the
is.
Detroit Tigers, look, I think they're making what they do. In terms of the hitting, I think they're finding ways to hit the ball. They're hitting, and it's consistent. You watch the hits by Dingler. You watch how about Malloy? How about the aggressiveness of
he didn't
Malloy?
get any sleep, right?
Right.
He went from AAA out to the West Coast.
100%. And he was mad last year. This was a player that they kept sitting down. We wanted
shouldn't
him
have
up
put him
last
down.
year. They shouldn't have put him down last year, but he's up. Not only is it the hitting, Maz and Anson, it's the aggressive base running. A couple times he literally was running through first without worrying about necessarily what was going on in the outfield, and it worked for him. Go ahead,
Real
Ricky.
quick, I looked it up, Maz. There was 3 MVPs that year.
What type?
You're right.
Yeah,
You know the other two? Ron Say, Dusty Baker,
Nope.
Garvey,
Nope.
Garbage
Yeager.
was the Dodgers,
Yeager.
right?
Yep, Yeager.
Steve Yeager,
Steve Yeager.
and one more.
You gonna get it. I believe in you.
He'll get it. It's Tommy.
Davey Lopes.
Nope.
Come on.
No, the fact that they're saying it like that, it has to be a big name.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to tell he's he's an outfielder?
Well, Dusty Baker was an outfielder. So go ahead, just give it to me.
All right.
Pedro Guerrero.
Pedro Guerrero.
Stud.
That's O.J. Simpson's guy.
Yes, it is.
Pedro
That was his
Guerrero.
accomplice?
No, Pedro Guerrero was. O.J. said that Pedro Guerrero was intimate with his wife at one point.
Man.
Oh wow.
Motive.
Man,
Motive.
Well, he wasn't the
that's
only
mine.
one, because so was Marcus Allen, and I know that for a
Yes.
fact. With that being said, how about that funky play with McKinstry in the outfield?
Yes.
McKinstry goes from catching the ball to not catching it, then it gets stuck, allows Julio Rodriguez to get the second, and he would eventually score. The game really wasn't close. That play right there made it a little bit closer, but the game wasn't really close.
Hey, we'll take the win, man. 9-6. Was it 9-6 the final?
9-6.
Yep. good game, good win. That's all that matters. And tonight they'll do it again. Gilbert against Casey Mize. I'd love to see Casey Mize get out there and get a win for us.
Definitely would like
At least
to see.
pitch well.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. I think he'll make up for last week against the Dodgers.
There was a suspension last night in baseball. Jerickson Profar, he was a highly touted outfielder for the Padres. Never really got going. So he's in his 30s. I think he's 32 years old.
Yeah.
So last year he has his greatest year.
Yep.
He gets traded to the Braves, gets a huge deal with the Atlanta Braves. What do you think they did? They tested him. Yes, he failed the PEDs. He was on steroids. He is suspended for 80 games.
I wonder why we had such a good season last
There
year.
you go.
He made me a
He
lot
was
of
on
money.
the juice. But this is the thing about baseball that I've never understood. Like, being on the juice doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, how many times do you see guys get suspended for 20, 30 games, 40 games, and they don't bat an eye?
Right.
And then come back and get caught and do it again. This has been going on for a long time.
They might as well let them do it.
Like,
at this
Manny
point.
Ramirez is one of my favorite players. I just appreciate the way how he played the game. Like, the fun, the relaxed greatness. Like, Manny got popped like once a year.
Yeah.
And it just, there's really no recuz. Like, if you get popped twice, hey, you got to start looking at people different. Like, that's how my value of a player and morale is like, all right, look, he got popped twice. This guy isn't, whatever.
When are they testing
me.
LeBron?
Oh, wait a minute.
Damn. Why would they do that?
Wait a minute. Yeah, people don't want to talk
They would
about
never-
that.
they would
But
never
good
do
thing
that.
they tested Anthony Edwards at the Olympics,
did.
but not the 40-year-old jumping out the
As they
gym
should.
still.
Nope,
Correct.
they won't
Hey.
do it.
Hey,
you gotta
mind
protect
your
the
business,
bag.
Okay, them not testing him got us another check.
But you protecting all these
Got us
Cleveland
another
guys.
check. I ain't protecting him, but he wasn't LeBron James playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Lakers in the Olympics. He was playing for USF.
Oh, you were in Cleveland when LeBron was there. What was that like? Did you guys ever hang
Oh
out?
man,
We did.
Yeah?
We did. He wasn't always this guy. Wasn't always.
You
this
ain't going
guy.
any further than that. I love it.
Look, I'm gonna retire that story. And speaking of retirement,
Smart.
John Kaminsky, one of the fan favorites of the Detroit Lions, says he's gonna hang up his cleats. He left this heartfelt message. Anson, after 6 years in the NFL, I'm officially medically retiring. I am proud of the career that I had, but I have accumulated a combination of injuries that are overwhelming my desire to continue playing.
That's too bad. He was a good one, man.
He was. He definitely was. Thank you to the Atlanta Falcons for believing in me and drafting on an under the radar draft prospect. Thank you to the Detroit Lions for grabbing me off waivers and giving me a second contract and allowing me to show what I can do as an NFL star. Thank you to the front offices and coaches that helped build me and believed in me. Who would have thought a small-town Barberton, Ohio quarterback would find his way to sacking NFL
How about that? He was a quarterback.
quarterback.
He was a quarterback to
That-
become a quarterback sacker.
That would
Pretty
be a
good.
fun topic one day, like talking about players that started at one position and ended up in another position, who are the best of all time. But gonna miss him.
Dan Campbell's
gonna
gonna miss
say I'm
him.
gonna miss him.
Dan Campbell's going to miss him.
yeah,
Check it out.
100%.
Oh,
You know, back in 22, late 21, 22, you know, and 23, and you know, he was that. I mean, he was kind of the model of what we were early in this thing, you know, and the value that he brought to us, the type of teammate he was, the type of player that he was. You know, that'll be missed, man, and it's. Unfortunately, it's part of this game. The you know, you get these injuries, and some of them it's just hard to recover from. So, I wish him the best of luck, certainly, and love him to death, man. He was the best, and but that's part of the tough side of this game is the injuries.
Thanks to Eric Woodward, by the way, ESPN Lions reporter, always gets us great stuff.
100%. We've had him on the show. He is a friend of the show. Look, man, it's tough when you lose guys like that. As much as we just were talking about Darren McCarty and what he was in the locker room for those Red Wing teams. That's what this guy Kaminsky is. When you understand, what was it, 23 contracts, Maz? 23 contracts, 23.
Oh, Skipper.
100%. 23
Skipper.
times he signed these contracts to play in the game. So at every turn, he never knew if he was going to continue or not. He never knew if he was going to stay on the team or not, but he stayed the course. Guys like that are important in the locker room. When you have guys like that in the locker room, it's guys that can tell the guy about a journey and what it means and how important it is and how lucky you are to be on the team. So when you lose guys like that, it does have a value. He's one of those guys, man.
Yeah, I mean, he embodies the new Detroit Lions culture.
I looked up. Everybody was looking in 5 different spots. Hey, you over here cracking jokes here. Maz doing his job. Ricky his head down, hitting his head rubbed. I'm like,
I think Stick and Pete are setting me up for the second hour right now. But listen,
I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised with what I'm
I'll
not a
talk to
graphics
you guys
guy,
out
but
there.
I just do
How's
some
everybody
fucking
doing at home?
Some magic. Oops.
I'm always pleasantly surprised by you, my friend. But yeah, Kaminsky, listen, he embodies the culture that this regime has been able to establish here in Detroit. Not a guy that's going to get you 9 sacks a game, but a guy that's going to show up every week. He's going to show up at practice. He's going to bring a good attitude, and he's going to bring the effort every snap on Sunday. They're going to have to find somebody to fill in for him. You know, there's a lot of question marks on this defensive line between bringing back Davenport, between Aleem being hurt, between losing Kaminsky, between waiving Z. Everyone's wondering what we're doing in the draft, and now the onus is placed a little bit more on defensive line by losing a guy who may not be the captain of that defense, but he's out there as a leader in that defense.
I'm glad you brought that up. Excuse me, Pete. Put that back up there for me.
Sure,
This
my
is a
friend.
tweet
Hang on, buddy.
From Dave Burkett. Actually, Brad Holmes as well as Dan Campbell talked about this at the NFL coaches meeting.
Let me zoom it in for you,
We don't
buddy.
have that yet, and I don't think that audio is out. Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell said Aleem McNeil probably will miss the early part of the 2025 season, while Brad Holmes is very confident Aiden Hutchinson will return to form, and that's at the beginning of the season. So just to break it down, Aleem McNeil was breaking out of his shell this year. He was showing why they extended him to the tune of $94 million, but he got injured late in the year. And when you have injuries late in the year, it sucks in the beginning of the season upcoming, and he's heavier. This is another thing that they've talked about. When you're a heavier player, ACLs, it's different. The recovery process is different. When you trust your knee again, it's going to be different. So don't look for Aleem McNeil before October. Like, don't look for him before October. You shouldn't want to see him for October, being honest. You wanted Aleem McNeil for the playoffs. Like, this is still very much the Super Bowl run. 2025, we assume that we hope that we're making it to the Super Bowl. Well, you're going to lead Aleem McNeil in the middle next to DJ Reader. Him being healthy will be the most important part of this. So I don't want to see him in September. I really don't want to see him in October. I don't want to see him realistically maybe until November, December.
I'm going to change that word from hope to expectations.
Okay, there it is.
Because expectations were high in 2024. Expectations for me and everybody else in this city should be even higher. For me, I wasn't thinking that we'd get Aleem back until November. So if we were able to get him in October, it'd be great. But we just mentioned the issues on the defensive line. There are a lot of question marks right now. This could be a good thing for them. If they can get some people and get them some experience through those first 2 months of the season, when you get Aleem back, you should be deeper and more experience over the entirety of the defensive line. But Aleem, after you extend him and you lose him, it's a major, major blow. Like you said, the end of the season. If we can have him back for November, I don't need him back in October, Bray. I just want him back for November because, as you said, hit the nail on the head. That's a guy that makes all the difference come playoff time.
Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes both talked about the D-line. They said, we like our D-line. We have one of the top 5 pass rushers in the game. And they said, would you disagree that Aiden Hutchinson's a top 5 pass rusher? And I don't think we can disagree.
Nope.
He was on his way to an unbelievable breakout season last year until he had that freak injury against the Cowboys. They also said, we're not done with the D-line. Now, some people think it's a slam dunk that they're going to draft a defensive lineman, defensive end, coming up in the draft, about 20 some odd days away now, right?
Close.
The draft's like 3 weeks away almost.
Right.
Amazing. So a lot of people think they're going to lock in on that defensive end. I don't know. I think maybe they still have a trick up their sleeve, and they're talking to a team, perhaps a couple of teams, about bringing another guy in here that they know they could depend on. I say stay tuned. I say we got no choice but to believe in these guys, right?
Yeah.
He says, I know a lot of people were disappointed with free agency. He knows that. Lion fans want to see a splash. So do we. And it didn't happen. But maybe that's because they just wanted to sign their own guys. Brad Holmes went on to say, hey, we spent more money than we brought in more people than I even thought we were going to bring in during the free agent period, meaning their own guys. But they were able to keep more than they were able to lose. So that's a team that won 15 games last year. So we can't forget that.
No, it's definitely a team that won 15 games last year. Now, is 8 in the top 5 defensive end in the league right now? Sure. You want to say it's fine. I mean, it's still the uncertainty right now. And when you look at this defensive line, and that's all we've been talking about, because I've gotten to the point where, Brad Holmes believes in the players they brought in, so I believe in that aspect of it, but they're coming off injuries, some major injuries. This first part of the year is going to be very interesting to see what it looks like. What does Lopez look like in the middle? Because he's going to have to play right away. That he and DJ Reader will be right next to each other. And I hear Aiden Hudson, he's coming back. He's going to be right, and he's going to be ready. The bone will be right, pause. Like, the body will be right. The mental, that's the aspect we're trying to decide. So him getting back into it. Davenport, the thing was, if Davenport plays, he'll be fine. Well, game 2 last year, Davenport's out. So it's more so the unknown that you fear with the defensive line. If everything goes well, this should be a very good defensive line. And if Aiden takes that step that he was going to take last year, this should be a great defensive line. If. That's the word that keeps bothering me, if.
Let me ask you to define great, because I don't think anybody will argue that Aiden Hutchinson is a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL.
He's
is
6,
this a top 10 defensive line? Because I'm not sure that it's a top 15.
Aiden's 6, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, he's 6. Okay. Well, we won't battle that one too much. But as this defensive line stands, without a draft pick added to it in the first round, without Lee McNeil for the first 2 months, would you consider this a top 12 defensive line in the NFL? Me neither.
No.
So I'm a little worried about their confidence in this line. You bring in a new guy. You've got a Reader who seems to not be able to stay healthy. Davenport, who can't stay healthy at all, and half the season without a lean. There are major questions on the defensive line right now. And to your point, Maz.
But when I said it was, we're good, we trust Brad.
Oh, no, I mean, yes, we do trust Brad.
Me and Maz said that it was, we trust Brad, we're all good. Don't worry about that. Davenport will be fine. He's great. Trusting what Brad Holmes says. We don't need this guy. We don't need that guy. Hell, we can even go offensive line in the first round. Best available player. That's what somebody had said. He said, not you. So now all of a sudden this defensive line.
Well,
I'm not talking stuff.
No,
I'm just glad you're here. Because this is where me and Maz have been for the last 3 years.
Well, and if you look at this team on paper, the defensive line is concerning, period. Your offense is fine. Your secondary is looking improved, if anything. And your linebacker core is coming back. To your point about them having a trick up their sleeve, listen, I've said it a few times. These guys, they have like a top 18 list, period. These are the can't-miss prospects in their eyes. They'll move up to get one, or if a Brian Branch slips, they'll take it. But it doesn't matter to them what position that guy has. If there's a great offensive lineman sitting at 28, they're going to take him. And it still will just leave us with more questions about this defensive line. But I got to say, man, like this defensive line in the first month, if they don't make any more moves, it's going to put the onus on this very, very young secondary to allow the defense to keep the Detroit Lions in games in 2025.
Let's put a pause on this conversation, but you're absolutely right about that secondary. I do want to get into that. Also, the other side of the ball. Somebody's up that might get an extension this offseason. Maybe, maybe not. We want to talk about that. But first, let's pay some bills. Anson, tell us about Les Stanford.
Hey, you don't want to extend your car,
Make it
right?
longer?
You want to go to Les Stanford because they got great offers for everyone. They got the 24 Envision Avenir for only $299 a month, or the 25 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 a month, or take that big step up to the 25 Hummer EV SUV for $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar more as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
I started to make a video today, man, but I ran out of footage, so I didn't put it together. But it's still the same truth. I went to Planet Fitness State, and I got it in Orchard Lake and Maple, one of the many 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. It's the gym for you. There's no judgment. Everybody's working on to the own beat of their own drum, getting it in, might I add, and it's fun. It's a clean gym. The membership, easy peasy, and it's not a it's not a finance that will break your pocket. Fitness that fits into your budget, that's what they're preaching. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
And you got to know about Legendary Buddies. I know, you're from Detroit. They've been around since 1946 with their original location still sitting at the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. 22 locations throughout Metro Detroit serving up the original Detroit style pizza. Deep dish, I love it. Fans can still visit where it all began, of course, at that original location. You can also sign up for the Buddies Reward to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddies Pizza mobile app today and start earning. Add some Detroit style to your next meal, and you can also save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. You see it right above my head. Once again, that's 10MEAL. BuddiesPizza.com. Go and give them a visit.
And I know people are wondering why we go from fitness to pizza back to back. You can do both. Buddies has a menu that does feature some healthy options, and there's always cheat days, man. So pull up on Buddies anytime.
Yeah, but he's got that Buddies salad right now. He's keeping the diet nice and clean.
I told you, man, they have healthy options. We're talking about a little bit of welcome back, as I should say. We're talking about the Detroit Lions. I mentioned there is a player whose fifth-year option is available to be taken care of, and we think the Lions are going to go ahead and pull that trigger. Here's Brad Holmes talking about number 9 for the Detroit Lions.
Questions. James said because he had the suspensions.
Yep.
Is he at that level that you're willing to do an extension with him? Does he have more to prove? How does he fit into that long term?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're still taking it, as it goes. Look, his 5th-year option's coming. It's looking likely that we'll go ahead and just pick that up. But in terms of extension, again, there's a lot of extensions that are hopefully coming, but it's just one that you just don't know what's going to happen from a financial standpoint, because a wide receiver, that's
it's expensive. It's very expensive. So
First and foremost, I know I was the only one. I could not pay attention for the sake of all these exotic birds to go
Right. Why can't they? It's a resort. Could they have anywhere inside they could have done
No
that?
wonder
Exactly.
No wonder they spend $3,000 a night at this place.
Right.
They got the wild birds all flown in there.
They definitely could have done it inside, but I think part of the ambiance is doing outside with the plants and the trees.
guess.
And I just thought we had to make mention of that.
Let me cut
It's
through
the
the
third
chase.
time I've watched that, and I have no idea what he said.
Let me cut through the chase on what he said.
Please.
Go, man.
Next year, not this year, but next year will be the 5th-year option for Jamison Williams. And what Brad Holmes said essentially is, right now we're looking to possibly pick that up. Now, someone threw in, extension in there, and he just kind of blew that right off.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, yes, we're leaning towards 5th-year extension. We're going to see how, the player is really good. He's got a lot of talent. What he means is, stay out of trouble, J-Mo.
Exactly.
Don't be a fool. Just be the great player that you could be. If you do that, you will get your extension. Yesterday we talked about players before their extension and then players after extension. Now, we already know what the Giants did with the Lions' old wide receiver. And refresh my memory on his name.
Galladay?
Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay, prior to getting that big contract, was a guy that played his you-know-what off, was really good. We wanted to keep him here. But the Giants went out and spent all that money on him. And what happened to him? I think he caught 3 passes in 3 years, and he's out of the NFL. This Jamison Williams, I'm telling you, they don't trust him 100%. From everything I've heard in the 3 years that he's been here, he's got a lot of talent. Of course, they drafted him when he was injured. They got him through the injury. And then you saw what he can do last year. The guy is a game breaker. There's no question about it. But he's also been suspended twice. Possibly could have been suspended for a 3rd time with the gun charge in Detroit.
Yeah.
That one got away. And it wasn't even his, but it was his brother's, whatever it is. He just got to learn to just stay straight and just be the guy that the Lions drafted when they moved up to get him in that draft just a few years ago.
This means that the Lions are going to pay Kirby Joseph, and they're going to save this season to see what, like you said, man, see what Jameson's going to be, and they're going to pay Aiden and J-Mo next year. Here's the problem with that, okay? Here's the problem with that. Did some research. Did some notes, as they say. J-Mo's the number 2. Amon-Ra St. Brown's your number 1, correct? Brandon Ayuk was number 2 when he got paid because Debo was the number 1.
Yep.
These are his seasons: 748, 826, 1,015, 1,342. He got $30 million. T. Higgins, 900, 1,000, and then another 900, $28 million. Jalen Waddle, he's another number 2, 1,000, 1,300, 1,000, $28 million. You see where I'm going with this? Devontae Smith, the Eagles got ahead of the curve. They paid him earlier because they knew what the going rate was for a number 2 receiver, especially one of his caliber. I'm just saying, if you wait till the end, J-Mo had 1,000 and only played 15 games last year. In a lot of the games, he's just your decoy. If J-Mo plays 17 games and he locks in, like Brad Holmes wants him to do, like we all want him to do, J-Mo's not a $22 million receiver next year. J-Mo's not a $23 million receiver next year. Not a 25, not a 28. J-Mo's floating in the 30s.
Wow.
J-Mo's floating in the 30s because then it'd be his 4th year. And let's just say 1,400. Let's say 12 touchdowns.
Sure.
You know he doesn't need that many catches to get 1,000 anyway because of the speed and the burners. I'm just saying, if you don't do it this year where you can maybe do it for 22, 21, based off of the things that have happened, maybe even cheaper, based off of the things that have happened to him, you run the risk of either having to let him go or have to pay him way more than not way more, but closing in on number 14's price range.
You know,
I know money goes up and all that other stuff, but
I love J-Mo. I love how much he's embraced this city. I love what he can do with the ball in his hands. 2 years ago, this offense was pretty damn good without him. Pretty damn good. 12 wins, won the division. Last year, obviously, he made a big difference on the field, but I'm going out on a limb here, but I think that you can get another player there through the draft or through free agency for a lot less that can do a lot of the same things without watching your offense change or lose speed. Well, I should take that back. Lose the ability to score. Without Ben Johnson, we don't know what this offense looks like, but I don't think that J-Mo is the absolutely important piece that you need to keep in Detroit. And I think with that interview and the absence of an extension at this point, a lot of it has to do with his off-field problems and some of the other stuff, but I just don't see it making sense, and I don't see these guys spending the money to do it on a guy that could be an issue. There's a lot of great wide receivers that could end up in a Detroit Lions uniform
those great wide
via
receivers,
the third round this year.
Those wide receivers don't run 4.2. Hear me out. Those wide receivers don't run 4.2. Those wide receivers weren't about to be single-handedly responsible for beating the Georgia team that might be the greatest Georgia team in terms of talent on the defense, on the field in the national championship game. J-Mo was that guy. Like, those guys, those receivers, they won't be there. You got a guy. You guys are all about paying guys that have done something for you in Detroit Lions, that have done what they're supposed to do. He's getting close to doing what he's supposed to do. If he does it this year, you're talking about the very basis of the offense, not 2023, but 2024 when you broke all the records. J-Mo was on that team. When Sam Laporta couldn't stay healthy, when Sam Laporta couldn't find his rhythm last year, J-Mo was there. J-Mo missed 10 games. Like, it doesn't take much for J-Mo it doesn't take much for J-Mo to break a game open. Any play for J-Mo can be any play can be a game-breaking play, and it's a part of your identity. You're paying all these guys that have been here for 4 years, and I love that. Well, pay this guy as well if he does what he's supposed to do. You can't account for the type of receiver that J-Mo could be, and if this year he shows that, I'm not willing to let that walk out of the door. Just me.
Maz, how do you feel about it?
He's getting better every year, right? He's showing what he could be. If he just grows up a little, and he will, he'll be another year older. If he stays on the straight and narrow, then there's no stopping this guy. But that's a decision they'll have to make. They don't have to make it this year. Next year they can just extend him, give him the fifth-year option, and see what happens. Kirby Joseph's the first guy getting paid. Right. Aiden Hutchinson, I believe that I tell you the same thing on him. I wouldn't have paid him this year. I would not have extended Aiden Hutchinson this year. I'll roll the dice and just wait. The price goes up, so does the salary cap. So, yeah, you're going to pay more, and it's going to look unreal, the money that you have to pay these guys. But that's the price of doing business. Look at Juan Soto's making $750 million. Do you ever think you would see a player making that kind of money? It's just a different time. It's a different time.
And the teams get bumps and increases. $77 million every year they're getting.
Look what the Celtics just sold for.
And
$6.5 billion.
I didn't have a problem with the conversation about J-Mo last year because at some of those times I disagree with some of the stuff, but a lot of the stuff I was like, hey, look, man, J-Mo's got to stop this. He's caught. I understood and I agree. But one of the things that we got to remember to pay attention to, let's have some patience, let's have some calm. Remember the kid got drafted at 20. And I say the kid because he was a kid. Like, this is a different day and age with NIL colleges. Colleges don't have the best. Like, it's tough. And you're talking about a 20-year-old. You give him that money and you put him in the system. Remember, his parents weren't here at first. Now his parents are here. Like, so I would be cautious. See what he does this year. See what the growth is from January of 2025 to September 2025 when the season starts. I think you're going to be happy with him. I think it takes sometimes it takes receivers a little bit longer, especially a 20-year-old receiver. But what is the conversation about him? You love him. You love his smile. You love that he cares about Detroit. Remember the old adage? He doesn't look happy to be a Detroit Lion. He's frowning. He doesn't even want to play for the Lions. Couldn't have been further from the truth. And now you got a guy that'll block, a guy that celebrates, a guy that's the first in the end zone, even when he's not the one with the ball in hand. Those are things to pay attention to. So let's just continue to let him kind of grow. And let's see. I think this will be a better year for number 9.
So aside from staying out of trouble, what does he have to do to earn just, hey, we're extending you?
I think off the field he'll be fine. Because we know.
Let's assume that.
Because we know. Okay, yeah. Because we know what that is, and he knows what that is.
What does he have to do on the field?
On the field, I think he needs to take the next step in the next role.
And what kind of numbers is that?
It's not about numbers. It's about leadership. Like, it's about when I watch J-Mo run routes, I see that they're building or they're game planning for him in concepts. Not just, all right, cool, we're going to give him a handoff on this play, or we're going to run a go-around on this play, or, okay, here's a good time for a deep over. Nah, like, let him know the system. Like, I want to be able to tell when I watch film, oh, they moved him to Z, and now X, and now A. He's playing on the right and the left. He's playing in the slot and the outside. I can see him as a versatile wide receiver. That's the step I think I needed to see him take. You see Amon-Ra everywhere, including the Y. That's the step I think. You want to get paid? You want to prove to us in Detroit? Because I still want him to prove it too. I'm just like you guys. You want to prove it? Let me see how versatile you are as a wide receiver. Let me see that Johnny Morton can trust you and use you. Then I'll know. So that's what I want to see. That's the step that he needs to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because you look at a guy like Justin Jefferson, where they move him everywhere, and a guy gets an opportunity to line up all over the place.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson,
yes,
A.J. Brown, like the
and with
Devontae Smith, the number 2.
Amon-Ra, like you mentioned, if you have 2 of those guys that understand that system, that are as dynamic and talented as they are, where you can mix and match, I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I'm excited to see what the season can be, Maz. I think.
The offense is going to be great.
Yeah.
They are. The offense is going to be terrific. Stay healthy. And just do what you got to do. Win 12 games, win the damn division, and then win in the playoffs. Don't take yourself too seriously, and pray that the injury gods will shine on you this year and take care of you, because last year was a freaking disaster. Now, the other side of the ball, still on the offensive side of the ball, we always talk about Hendon Hooker. So Hendon Hooker's name was brought up yesterday to Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell said, well, I'm going to let you hear what Dan Campbell said at the owners' meetings about Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen.
Well, yeah, I would say that Hooker, no different than Allen, are competing, and the best way to help guys really reach their full potential is competition. You can say things, you can try to, the best you can pump them up, but at some point, man, you just got to go compete, and it's him or you, and I anticipate Hooker's going to compete. That's what he does. So, and I would see him taking another step up.
Hey, thanks to our friend Eric Woodward, ESPN Lions beat reporter on this one as well. You heard it, guys, and we've been saying it to you from the playoffs when they brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, they wanted that veteran backup in the playoffs. But if Hendon Hooker had developed as a quarterback that they could trust, then you don't need to bring in Teddy Bridgewater. So now here it is. What'd they do a month ago? They signed journeyman Kyle Allen, who's been with 5 teams in 5 years. He's won some NFL games. He's got some talent. But they brought him in, and you heard Dan Campbell. No one is guaranteed a job here. You have to earn it. So it's going to be him against Kyle Allen. So Hooker against Allen. And then on the practice squad, Jake Fromm is a guy that they still like. Jake Fromm, if you remember last year, he played in the last game of the preseason, and he made the practice squad off that one game. So they like him as well. So I see a 3-man battle for the backup quarterback, which we hope we never see. We hope we never see the backup. Jared Goff, stay healthy, young man.
I'm going to do you a favor and help you out. It won't be – it's not a 3-hitter race right now at the end of the day. You know what it is? It's Hendon Hooker's job. This is what I like about this situation. This shows me that there's something there with Hendon Hooker. They like what they see in Hendon, much like everybody that they draft, but they like something. But you know what happens, Maz, when you're behind a star, because that's what Jared Goff is right now. He's a star. Jared Goff, we don't need to go on that. Jared Goff is a star in the regular season, stat-wise, a whole 9 yards. You're not going to play. You know what happens with a lot of backup quarterbacks when they know they're not going to play? Don't watch film as hard, not necessarily as aggressive in practice. They're trying to get better, but they're also kind of trying to watch the guy that's a Pro Bowler, that's in the MVP race. Like, there's no fire lit under them other than just watching and just the verbiage and going over the plays. Now you don't get as good. Now when the team puts you in, you're not ready. You put somebody in there to compete with, now he's not longer just watching Jared Goff and looking at the film and paying attention to how the QB coaches, pointing out what Jared is doing or number 16 and how he sees it. Now you got your own competition going on. Now you're battling. Now you're dialing in. Yeah. Now you're getting excited. Now those competitive juices that you had when you were at Tennessee and you almost won the Heisman, now they come back. So that's what this is for. This is to get those competitive juices come back so that if ever there was a moment, like when Teddy Bridgewater had to hand the ball off, well, would have been good because then the hooker's ready to do that. This is just to get his competitive juices back because
I hope you're right.
They don't want anybody just to sit there and be like, oh, I'm number 2. I'm kick my feet up. I'm good. They want you to know you got to work too.
I think most professionals are at their best when they have to look over their shoulder.
Yeah, I agree. I remember my first 2 years, first year rookie, I'm number 3 overall. We figure it out once I get in the starting lineup. Don't care. Don't you know my second year they drafted a receiver in the second round? Travis Hunter, who played at Oklahoma. He was on the team. He was behind Mark Bradley and Mark Clayton. But yeah, they drafted in the second round. I'm like, hold on, why y'all drafted? Turn me up. In 2007, excuse me, my third year they drafted a wide receiver. I had come off ACL. I'm like, here we go. They're playing the game.
The forgotten Travis Hunter.
Yeah, true. I had 16 touchdowns that year. So to your point, competition is you know what.
Hey, there was plenty more coming out of the owners' meetings today. A lot on the rule changes. So we'll start with the rule changes that the Lions proposed. The first one the Lions proposed was defensive holding, that it should not be an automatic first down. Guess what? It got turned down today. The Lions, the reason they did this is they were the most penalized team on defensive holding. And what did they do, Bray? Who did they go out and get this year as their quarterback?
The number 1 most penalized defensive back in the league, DJ Reed.
And who's number 2?
Terry Arnold.
Okay, so this failed. This was prior to the rule failing. Pete, we're going to play Dan Campbell talking about why he thinks defensive holding should not be a first down.
All right, the illegal contact defensive holding, automatic first down. I think really, I felt like where those were most glaring for us is we had a number of, second 16, second 12, second 10, second 10, second 10, second 9, third and 8. And those specifically, forget the first downs. Our rule with first down, it's irrelevant. It'd be 1st and 5 now instead of, 5 yards. That's actually better offensively, by the way. But it's more when you're in those that I just mentioned, the second long, third, and the contact happens 6 yards down the field and it's on a scramble, which 4 of those where you're like, man, that seems unfair, right? Why not just 5-yard penalty and let's replay the down, And so that was really, for me, I know that's where that came up. And it's really that kind of that little bit of the area, these longer yardage situations where, and I'm not talking about the blatant, this is a clear hold. He's 10 yards downfield, but we had a number of these that really were like that. It's contacts taking place 6 yards downfield in the second 12, or it just, that doesn't seem right.
All right, man. I completely agree with Dan Campbell. And I've told you, there are other ways to skin a cat. Thanks to Eric Woodyard, by the way. He got us all our sound today. We appreciate you. Follow him, ESPN's Lions beat reporter, E_Woodyard. Listen, man, it's 3rd and 18. And let's say Kirby Joseph comes up to the line and he grabs Terry McLaurin's jersey, lets it go. Here comes the flag. Automatic first down. That's bull to me. Holding is like real holding. Look at the offensive line, how they hold. And you can call holding on every single play. But they give those guys a little bit of a leeway. They don't give the defensive guys any leeway at all. So what I understand what Dan Campbell's saying, 100%. So why not just make it a 10-yard penalty for both sides, offense and defense? Not an automatic first down, just 10 yards. But they're not going to do it. They said no to it. And I think it sucks. I think some of the rules in the NFL are really archaic. What do you got, Bray?
I agree. Some of the rules do suck. This one, I'm gonna stand with the offense on this one. I know you guys are going shocking. I'm gonna stand with the offense, and this is why. Don't hold.
It's hard. Not to.
Maz,
you're just grabbing a guy's shoulder. There goes the flag.
Maz, I understand, but you get paid $10 million to figure it out. I don't want to hear it. You get paid for in fact, Deshae Townsend, who's the DB coach, he gets paid money to teach the concepts of no holding. And the reason why is I hate it when they, remember back in the day, if the DB pushed you out of bounds?
Yeah.
And then they got rid of that.
Yeah.
Like it plays to the it allows DBs.
Well, they got rid of it. They gave it back to the offense.
No, it allows DBs to be lazy. Because in terms of the one hand, or if you get pushed out of bounds in the air and your feet aren't in, it's out of bounds. Like it allows DBs to be lazy, I was saying. But no, just with the 5 yards, it's technique. Like, I feel like we're always trying to make so many excuses for technique and all through the sports. Well, it's 3rd and 16, and then you make it this. Don't hold. That's what the game is. I can't push off. Like, if I push off, I'm like, well, it's contact. It's right here. No, don't push off. That's what they told me. So I can't push off. I don't push off. I just think they're making more. Stop making excuses. Like, this is the main reason, like you said. Last year we were number 1. This year we recruited the player that was number 1. That makes number 1 and number 2. That's 27 penalties, by the way. That's 27 penalties between the two. That's what they're trying to prevent, and I understand that. But I think you teach the technique. Keep it moving.
I have two fundamental issues with this. First,
with Dan
with them wanting to do this.
Okay.
First, in our fantasy baseball league, every single year, there's the same couple of guys that want to change the rules based on their roster makeup. Shout out Tim and Marco.
Well, yeah, Shohei Ohtani, we want him as one player, a hitter and a pitcher. Well, you can't.
When you ask to adjust rules based on how it will help your team that next year, it's massively short-sighted and selfish.
You can draft Shohei Ohtani twice?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I'm glad
you got to draft the hitter and the pitcher.
So I don't.
That's funny.
When you've got a guy in Terrion and then you bring in Reed and you're looking at all of these defensive holding and pass interference and you're like, let's make it easier for us as a defense and change the rules. Don't love that. The second thing is this. How are you going to differentiate pass interference and defensive holding and their impact on that offensive play? Okay? Because just because when you're hitting a guy as he's going for the ball doesn't mean that you holding him at the line of scrimmage or holding him on his route didn't have the same impact on keeping him from making that play. So in a situation where you throw the ball downfield because he made contact earlier, it's going to be a 5-yard penalty versus making contact later on where it is now a penalty. To me, I'm going to hold all the time up until the ball gets close and it's now a pass interference.
No, you're absolutely correct. You know how you have these clear path fouls in the NBA? Mm-hmm. Clear path foul. The guy's going to make a basket with nothing going on and nothing impeding, then it's a clear path foul. A lot of that happens at the line of scrimmage. Man, the DB knows when he's in man-to-man coverage. He knows when he does not have safety help. And if you hit him with the at the line of scrimmage and now he's gone, he knows if he doesn't grab you a little bit, it's 6.
Yep.
It's 6. So that little hole that got them a first down is much better than the alternative 6 in the end zone.
And they'll give up those 5 yards without a first down over and over and over again.
The coach tells them, like, this is a part of the secondary to DB makeup. Hey, look, if you about to get cooked, hey, go ahead and get that grab because 15 is much better than 6 touches.
3rd and 15, 3rd and 17. Hold them for the next 2 plays because at worst, it's going to be 3rd and 7 now.
Yeah, you got a good point there, Anson. Braylon.
It happens on occasion.
I like that.
Oh, you like that? You know, it's funny, too. Like, I watched that Barry Sanders commercial when he was doing the Heisman House, and they're asking him at the table. It was like, Barry, what's it like? Everybody's over-exaggerating, and Barry's like, nah, it was it's so subtle. I feel like that's me. I'm like, oh, my shoulders don't work like this.
Hey, we got to take a break, but I got more on the rules when we come back.
This is fun. Yo, shout out to Eric Warrior. Appreciate all the sound they got. And then Pete, shout out to you getting all the sound. And everything is ready, locked, and loaded. Great job by you. Let's get a message in from some merch, though.
All right, let's celebrate the Tigers' first win of the season with some Tigers merch. Not just the normal old Tigers merch. Not the merch you had last year. Get some new merch. Shop.woodwardsports.com is where you need to go to get that merch. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. All designs for all of Detroit sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers. We got you, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Go get your new merch now. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like DMac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. I've said it before. I'm going to continue to say it. I don't care. We are the numero uno sports digital platform. I don't care about the biggies at those big stations. Forget them. We are unfiltered. And we have 6 family members over there for you to choose from to catch the Woodward sports content. You can use YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. Come like, share, join, subscribe. Come be a part of our family because we definitely want you to be a part of our family. Join Woodward Sports on all of these platforms, man.
New home, a feeling in a financial pinch? Well, Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 in your pockets. Call Mark White and the team today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Welcome back in. Braylon Edwards, Anson Wells, Ermanni Edwards with Maz is the show. Had to let you know. Having a good time talking about Detroit Lions. Eric Woodyard provides us with a lot of sound coming out of the coaches conference as well as so. Before we get back to that, Anson, you had some Anson answers. We will touch on that, but let's finish this conversation.
You got it.
Go with that. Maz, we keep talking. Oh,
yeah.
Let you go.
Back to the owners' meetings.
Okay.
And the Lions here, they already got turned down on the defensive holding penalty.
Ugh.
Now, they also got turned down, kinda, on the other proposal they threw out there. They wanted whoever has the best record, wild card versus the division winner, they wanted the wild card with the better record to have the home field advantage. So like last year when the Vikings finished at 14-3, yet they had to go to L.A. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes proposed, if you have the better record, you should have the home game. Well, they didn't turn it down, but they didn't say yes either. They tabled it for future talk.
All right, I want to tread lightly on how I word this because I don't want it to seem like I'm going against the Detroit Lions or making them out to be some soft team because I am not. I just don't like how these two proposed rules, one has something to do with your secondary, who was the most penalized secondary in the league last year, and then the other one has something to do, in my mind now, stay with me, are you worrying about finishing second by having a good record?
You got to be worried about that division.
Like, are you worried about finishing second and having a good record? Because that's what essentially the Lions tell me with this. Like, last year was the Minnesota Vikings. They won 14 games. Not enough because the Lions won 15. Why would the Lions implement this rule? Like, why would they be worried about it?
You hit it on the nose. You hit it on the nose.
And I don't like
but
that.
I agree with them.
Okay.
Why should I?
Why are you worried about finishing second place, though, is my problem. Like, if this was Minnesota, if Kevin O'Connell and them had proposed this then I could be like, it makes sense. They won 14, and they had to play on the road to a team that may not have been as good as them, although they were.
Why should I win, let's just say, 13 games? 12. And the Atlanta Falcons won 9 and won their division. Why do I have to go to Atlanta? When I played in the obviously tougher division, and I got 3 more wins than them, or 2 more wins, why do I have to go to their place? It doesn't make sense to me. The division winner, your bonus for winning your division is you get in the playoffs. If you stink and you win your division, why should you get a home game over a team that's better than you?
Won your division. I mean, that's what it is.
But it's a crap division.
Let me ask you, too. Last year, did we try and make some rule changes, the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, they always propose deals.
But to me, I know they all do, but this is the first time I'm hearing the Lions' actual rule changes that they tried to put through.
And both of them have to do with loser mentality thoughts.
Well, and again, this goes back to my point on the first one. I don't like when a team is trying to put in rules that directly help their current situation. That being said, I'm a firm believer that divisions are only there to minimize travel. Okay?
Right.
You are geographically playing the teams closest to you. Once the actual win-loss record is in there, that shouldn't matter.
Okay.
And to me, if you win 14 games and you're playing on the road in the first round, there's a problem with that. You shouldn't be penalized for your geography. You should be rewarded for your play.
Okay, so what if a team is same thing? Team won their division, they got 13 wins, but the team that lost has 14. 13-4 is a hell of a record, and you won your division. So you don't get to go because the team that got second got one more win than you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't.
It probably won't happen again like last year.
Yeah, but here we are talking
But
about
what you just said probably won't happen as much either. Probably once in a blue moon that'll happen. I just don't think that you should penalize a team that has a better record and they have to go on the road to a team that's inferior and barely made it into the playoffs. The only reason they got into playoffs because the other 3 teams were horrible.
Well, if you're so good, then you should have won the game. If the Minnesota Vikings were a representative of a 14-win team, then they would have beat the Rams.
But to your point, the team that only won 13 should have won one more. We're penalizing teams for the city they play in by restricting their ability to have a home game just based on where they finish in the division. To me, you could put them all in one conference and then have guys play each other more when they're closer to each other. They're all just one to me. And you've got to reward the team that plays the best football and not penalize them from where they play their games.
Hey, it's been tabled. So
And
no decision has been made.
I feel like we live in this world where we're just trying to make we complain about everything. Oh my God,
Oh,
let's
yes.
change.
It's 2025, man.
All we do is change rules. Like for what? Why are we changing this rule again? Because of what happened last year with the Vikings and it's not fair.
It wasn't
you
just
win
last year,
your
Brad.
division.
It wasn't just last year, Brad.
If you win your division,
if
you
you
deserve
look back
to-
over the years,
Right.
there have been teams that have had better records that had to go on the road.
Well, then those teams should have won.
Okay,
They should have won.
that's fine.
You win your division, you get in the playoffs.
Well, I hear you, but Bray, I need some answers. I need answers, Bray.
Okay.
Maz,
Oh,
I
you
need
do?
some answers.
Hang on, baby. There you go. There's no
right.
audio for
Oh,
this.
look at Clyde's on there on his
Look
birthday,
at
too.
Layla.
Happy birthday.
Look at
My
Layla.
boy.
My boy. Look at
All right, guys,
Layla.
we're starting a new segment. We'll be doing it once a week when you see me, whether you want to or
Layla.
not. And today, I need some answers. I got a fun question. I want all of you in the chat.
Who's that little dog at the bottom there?
That's late Clyde Frazier Wells. I know you love that middle name.
Layla's the best.
Named after Walt Clyde Frazier.
Layla.
So I want all of the chat. I want you guys to put in your top 3. We'd love to see some super chats. We'll read your top 3 out there. But this is the question, and I need some answers.
Let's go.
Your top 3 no longer living athletes that you could meet in person. I've had this list for a long, long time.
Oh, wow.
Who wants to kick it off?
You're making
Ricky, you got some answers for me?
No, not yet. I'm still
Not
thinking
yet?
about it. Not yet.
You're making me think right off the bat.
Right.
I gotta think.
I told you last week, baby.
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 3 athletes that have passed away.
Correct.
That I want to bring back so I can hang out and meet with them.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. Number 1.
Uno.
Actually, no, let's go
Yeah,
Let's go
one
in
each.
reverse.
Yeah.
One
Let's
each.
go in
Yeah,
reverse.
I know me and Maz have one for sure.
I know you do. I know you do. So number 3, it's the logo, Jerry West.
All right.
Rest in peace. He just passed in the last year. Love that guy. Loved what he meant to the game. Loved how much he loved the game. Number 2 would be the guy that he could not beat,
Bill Russell.
Mr. Bill Russell. Absolutely, hands down, Bill Russell. Didn't have enough rings for all them, or didn't have enough fingers for all them rings. And then number 1, the Big Dipper. He hated that name, and
All
they called him that
basketball.
because he had to dip his head underneath.
All basketball.
All basketball, baby. Wilt Chamberlain, absolutely. I grew up reading his books. Probably shouldn't have been reading those books at 12, 13, but love me some Wilt Chamberlain, and I would have loved to have met him. I'm really curious where all of you guys go with this, especially Mr. Historian Tom Mazur.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Well, I think the one Braylon and I would want is Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yeah.
That was
All right.
that was gonna be mine too.
Hands down. Now, you went basketball. I might just go boxing because I'm going to bring up Big George Foreman. I wish I could have met Big George Foreman. God rest his soul. Just passed away a week ago. And to go to number 3, I mean, there's so many. God. Yeah. I'll go to football. And I'll do it because you guys always break my chops. You ready?
Yeah.
Who do you think in football I wanted to sit down with, even though he's been a pariah after his football
All right.
career?
OJ.
All right.
Simpson.
I was thinking that one.
It's
but I was
OJ.
like, nah.
He loves OJ.
Yeah.
It's OJ.
Simpson.
It's the juice. It's the juice. And I can keep going. I could go to 4 o'clock if you
No,
want.
you could.
I could go to 4 o'clock. Throw Jim Brown in there too.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to
that's a
talk
good
to
one.
Jim
Jimmy
Brown.
B.
Walter
No doubt.
Payton. What are you kidding?
So I had Muhammad Ali was one of mine. I'm gonna go with Walter Payton. Add that on there, and Babe Ruth out of curiosities, not because
Okay.
he's a favorite. I would just want to ask him so many questions.
I agree with you on
I'm gonna
that,
go with
man. Hey, dude, I'm on the Muhammad Ali train. That's for doggone
no
sure.
guy,
I'm on
Muhammad
that
Ali.
one. I got to meet him. Guys, I got to shake hands with Gordie Howe. I got to
Okay.
feel those freaking fists, man. I want to feel what those paws feel like after, 6 decades of
Hope he
hockey,
punches you
possibly
right in the
7. That guy's got some freaking claws. And then, it's a tough one for my last one, guys. I guess, honestly, I'd like to meet Lou Gehrig. I think that Lou Gehrig is just, he seemed like a genuine individual. I don't know. And the way that, what could have been with him, I don't know. I think Lou Gehrig would be my third. What do you say, Bray?
Because of my father, kind of like the rooms that he was in, he played in the league before I went to Michigan, played in the NFL for 7 years. And then same with me. So I've met a lot of people. I've shaken Bill Russell's hand, which not many people get the opportunity to do.
You did, huh?
I did.
Very cool.
And he's not with the handshakes type thing. He's not one of them guys.
Was the presence just huge?
You can just see how everybody else was around him looking. Like, it was like watching Kevin Garnett, like, look at him. Like watching like Paul Pierce and him look at him. Like, that's where, and then Larry Bird, that's where you see it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Because you watch on TV and you see it, but you have to see it in person, the level. But Maz, you're absolutely right. Muhammad Ali, like, that's the easy one. The greatest.
On board with that.
Human, probably, in that regard and what he did and the story, the journey, you know what it is. But Ricky Henderson, for some fun.
yeah. Ooh, nice.
You talking about my favorite baseball
Talk about
player,
great
him and Nolan
stories.
Ryan
He's
Gary.
so fast.
Like, the stories, and he talks in the third person.
Of course.
Like, you got to sit down with Ricky. And you telling me
You
that
know,
Ricky
moms
Henderson
do knows best.
and Wilt Chamberlain wouldn't be a good time?
Wilt
Wilt Chamberlain and Ricky Henderson?
Wish I could go out
Wilt
at night on a
Chamberlain,
town with him.
Ricky, and Muhammad Ali are my three.
That's a good one.
Shout out to Xavier D here. He's got a hell of a list.
Yeah, I was gonna
Muhammad
say.
Ali, Bobby Lane,
Yep.
and of course number 42 himself, Jackie Robinson.
So I had Jackie Robinson on here in the last second. When you said Wilt, I switched it to Wilt.
Nice.
I'd rather kick it with Wilt than Jackie Robinson, although I do have a lot of
I want to party with Wilt.
Jackie played running back at UCLA.
Yeah, he
so
did.
We will have something in common.
There's
But
a few in the
and
chat.
I like that.
It was fun. I appreciate your answers, gentlemen.
There's a few
I'll
others
come
in
up
the
with
chat
something
if
for
you wanna
next
read 'em.
week. I do want to drop a quick little Walter Payton story. I don't want to out the former Detroit Lion, but he was a member at our golf course. And he was very, very close with Walter Payton. And Walter Payton, on his deathbed, expressed his absolute displeasure with the fact that Barry Sanders retired because he didn't want Emmitt Smith to have the record. He wanted Barry to have it.
Oh,
know
Andrew.
that.
Sweetness.
That's real beef.
I did know that.
That's real beef.
See, everybody, there's some other people that feel like Emmitt Smith like Detroiters do.
Yeah,
Some
right.
other people
I mean,
that
hey,
feel that way.
hats off to Emmitt Smith,
I agree.
but he was not buried.
Hey, he's a hell of a running back. You go back and watch his film from Florida. We're Detroiters, so we're gonna go aggressive. Emmitt Smith could run the rock. He was a cold running back. He just ain't no Barry Sanders.
Hey, Kyle Swed says Bob Probert. Proby's a
They
good
trying
one.
to knuckle up.
Bob.
Yep.
And Polo Boy said Kobe, Sean Taylor, and Joe
Your face.
Sean
Your
Taylor.
face was so crazy. Oh, Kobe.
Well, I know Sean
no,
Taylor.
Kobe.
I lived out in Miami. I had a chance to meet. Dad, Kobe's the one.
Your face
Yeah,
is
take
hilarious.
Wood off, replace it with Kobe.
Yeah,
I
right.
got to
Yeah, I
meet
gotta
Kobe.
meet
That's
Kobe.
why he would have been on my list over
I
Jerry
met him
West.
too, but I didn't get a chance to sit down with him. Like,
Well, yeah,
I was
mean,
thinking of athletes I didn't get to
I
enjoy.
get to sit down with them, but
Yeah, I was thinking when he said athlete, I was thinking athletes I never got to watch and enjoy. I didn't even think of Kobe. 'Cause I grew up watching Kobe.
It's too far.
were you guys surprised that Maz did not say Pete Rose?
I was surprised he didn't say Babe Ruth.
Hey, when he said it, it kind of said, "Oh yeah, Babe Ruth." Steve Lehman says Jackie Robinson, Pat Tillman, and Kobe. What else we got? We got Babe and Ty Cobb for A Diz. Lots of people out there wanting to meet a lot of dead people. Love it. Pete Rose, Derek Thomas, Walter Payton for the Villain Squad.
Speaking of villains, Isaiah Thomas was defending the Detroit Pistons, and
Love
what's
it.
going on?
Of
man?
course he is.
Did you get a chance to see it?
I did, of course. And the reason that he's bringing it up because of what happened with the Timberwolves the other night on Sunday night. By the way, the suspensions came down. Let's do that before we go into Isaiah.
All right.
Suspensions came down today, and there are quite a few of them.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Including beef stew.
Anson, I want to ask you a question. We talked a little bit yesterday about this identity. Yesterday, the NBA has announced the following suspensions: Isaiah Stewart, 2 games; Dante DiVincenzo, 1; Ron Holland, 1; Nas Reed, 1; and Marcus Sasser, 1 game.
What?
Yesterday, we talked about this identity that is the bad boys. Ryan said that they're not tapping into the going to work Pistons. They're tapping into
Bad
the
boys.
80s Pistons, the bad boys Pistons, the aggressor. You see Beef Stew, we rock this on here. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. I gave pushback because I think that don't tap too much in that because the league already doesn't like you. You're going to make it that much easier. Get yourself a playoff game cost. Things like this is what I'm talking about. Beef Stew missing 2 games. Sasser missing a game. JB Bickerstaff being thrown out. Where are you at with the identity that everybody's excited about? The bad boys, the toughness, getting kicked out of games. Where are you at with that?
Your concerns, they're smart. I mean, you should be concerned over that because on that list that we just saw, you saw the NBA looking at our reputation because Isaiah Stewart should have 1 game,
Right.
but he got
How
2
did he get 2?
because of past behavior and reputation. Dante DiVincenzo should have 2 games for what he did the other night, but he doesn't.
Right.
That being said, give me more. Give me more. And Minnesota fans who are crying, the Twinkie fans and the Vi Queens out there, let's look at your 4 sports teams, right? You got 2 World Series, no Super Bowl championships, no Stanley Cup championships, no Larry O'Briens. So, of course, you guys are crying. And, of course, you guys are wrapping your arms around your guys that actually stood up and actually did something.
They have
but
a Larry
your entire
O'Brien.
city is trash,
former
and it's a
team.
joke when it comes to sports. And you will never compare to what the Pistons and what all other Detroit sports teams bring to the table. And that is tenacity and grit. Now, this team, Ron Holland and Isaiah Stewart, have taken it too far on occasions, but I am not mad about it. Will it cost them? Sure. But this is still a young team, and they can afford to lose a playoff game this year through immaturity and aggression. They'll learn, and they'll come back next year, and they'll be that much better for it. They're not only tapping into the bad boys, but that defense, you can't say it's not both of them. It's going to work. It's bad boys. And it is so fun to watch. And we have missed this type of basketball for nearly 20 years. I can't get enough, Bray.
Well, they do have 1, but it was the North Stars, not the Minnesota Wild.
No.
Lakers.
The Dallas
Minneapolis
Stars
Lakers.
won.
Oh, okay. I thought
Dallas
you were
I was
talking
talking about the Minneapolis
Oh,
Lakers.
Minneapolis Lakers.
Why
But
no
George
it
Mikan.
wasn't Larry O'Brien, though.
Right, whatever.
I knew that. I was thinking NHL. With that being said, talk about Marcus Sasser and Asar Thompson. Now that you've got a chance to see them in a couple games with no Cade Cunningham, with no Tobias, and they're not necessarily missing the beat.
So Marcus Sasser, as much as I loved seeing Dennis Schroeder come in, I was really worried about what it would do to Sasser's development. You know, part of me was wondering if this team had given up on him. But to me, in hindsight, it looks more like they realize they are in the midst of a playoff run. And you bring in a veteran like that.
Also, too, getting Dennis Schroeder some familiarity with the team, I think, too.
Sure, certainly. But Sasser has been absolutely as advertised. I mean, he looked like he's got a Houston outfit out there the way that he's been playing. He's been so damn good. Now, Asar is a star, Thompson. Him and his brother, I mean, they're just exploding in what they can do right now. Asar allows this Detroit Pistons team to do so many different things. Skip defensively, because this kid's going to be a defensive player of the year one of these days. But what he can do in bringing up the ball, getting to the basket, second chance baskets. Yeah. If this kid can develop a jump shot, oh boy. But seeing what, I got to go back to Troy Weaver. Seeing what Troy Weaver drafted for this team, you got to have some love for that guy. And yes, I would rather have Killian Hayes than Tyrese Halliburton. I will say that every day for the rest of my life. I don't ever want Tyrese Halliburton in a Detroit Pistons uniform. I can't wait to beat his ass over and over and over again. And without Killian Hayes, Cade the Killer would not be a Piston. So thank you, Troy Weaver, for every draft pick you ever made, sir.
Got that off your chest?
I've been wanting to say it for a while, baby.
Feel good about that.
It does, because listen, Troy Weaver gets a raw deal here, man.
What about Tyrese Halliburton has you so...
I can't... Listen.
He's a punk.
George Blaha. Okay. Ask George Blaha why I don't want Tyrese Halliburton here in Detroit.
By the way, Isaiah Thomas spoke out on that fight. We wanted to play that sound for you.
Yes, please.
You got to listen to Zeke, right? Here he is.
Detroit plays a different style, and that's what we like to see in the NBA, how every team doesn't play the same, right? And our style against your style, right? Our defense against your defense. What we were complaining about months ago was that every team was playing the same and every team looked the same. Finally, we got a team that steps up and says, well, we can't play like Boston. We can't shoot 53s a night. We have to win a different way. We have to win playing our style of basketball. And consequently, that styles make the fight.
I love Isaiah Thomas to death. Yeah, 100%. We lived in the same building when I was in Miami. It was
really?
cool. Yeah, 100%. The Ritz-Carlton. So it was cool, like seeing Zeke. At first, it started off running into him. Then it got to the point where he would shoot a text. I would shoot a text. Hey, come downstairs to the lobby. So nothing but love, nothing but respect for Zeke. I just disagree. It goes back. I mean, I understand that you have to find your way. You have to find what works for you, and this is working for the Pistons. But at some point, you got to develop. You got to be able to play the way the game is supposed to be played. And this aggressiveness, the NBA does not like the Pistons. He, of all people, should know that. Yeah, and you get to the league. It's just like the scene. You're playing the Knicks. Things are going your way. You got a game in hand, at the Garden. Excuse me, you got a game in hand at the Garden. And now here comes some of this Detroit tough stuff because they know what makes you sick. They know how to get under your skin. They've seen the clips. They've seen Beef Stew. They've seen Ryan Hollins love to square up. Now they get under your skin. Now you lose a game that you should have won. Remember what happened when the Celtics snatched that game from Indiana Pacers because Jaylen Brown hit that shot in the corner? Pacers never responded. They never were able to recover. That's the type of things I'm looking for. So be careful with that because the league already doesn't like you. If the league didn't like you, it'd be different. But the league doesn't like you, and you're not good enough to overcome it yet. Like once you get good enough to overcome it, by all means. But you're not good enough to overcome it yet.
Well, thanks to the third blood clot in the NBA in a calendar year.
I knew this was coming.
For that.
Clotter, party of three.
Dame, the dime, has basically put Milwaukee into a free fall.
I told you that's who I wanted to play anyway.
For sure. But it looks like I think we're on a crash course with the Pacers. And your point, I think, will be on display in an Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons showdown in the playoffs. There will be a lot of heated moments, and there will be there will be an altercation. And it could go to the point where we lose a guy for a game, or we have to give up a couple technical fouls that, switches the momentum in a game. There is certainly a lot of validity to your concern, Braylon, in the fact that these guys are very young and could get swept up in a physical game, especially one that the egos are on the line. But this is how we play basketball in Detroit. This is how we win championships in Detroit. And realistically, Isaiah built that archetype. So to hear Isaiah go up, and even though you might be right, it could cost him a game, but to hear Isaiah say anything other than bad boy basketball in Detroit reigns supreme, it would be disingenuous, because that man built the archetype for the bad boys, for going to work, and for this new team, which we are yet to name yet.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he definitely built it. The Bad Boys, man, when they built that thing, and
the baby Bad Boys.
Back in the day, when they built that thing, it was amazing, and it's carried true. But they did it in the '80s, and also what they did was all those guys could play before then. By the time they built the Bad Boys, by the time they got to that Bad Boys, them guys were players. Them guys that come from other places, those guys were already ready. It's still new into this young Bad Boys regime. It's a lot of newness going on. I don't want them to learn. Like, they were already older is more so what I'm trying to say when it started to affect.
And to add to your point, the NBA changed their rules after each team, each Pistons team. Laker dismantling, dynasty dismantling Pistons teams. Each one of those, the 04 squad and the Bad Boy squad, the NBA literally changed the rules to prevent that style of play. So, yes, this new Pistons team's going to have to find that sweet spot between aggression and finesse.
Hey, before we go to the break, Dante151 wanted to put his Anson answers in. He's got his trifecta. He's got Richard Night Train Lane.
Ooh.
So that was Dick Night Train Lane.
Yes, sir.
Kobe Bryant and Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm officially taking Jerry Westhoff and putting Andre the Giant on my list.
The cream always
watch
rises
this,
to the
Macho Man didn't start off as a wrestler. He started as a pro baseball player.
That's right.
Just throwing that out there. So that was a little double entendre right there. Shout out to you.
Cardinals or Redskins? Or Cardinals or Red Sox?
Red Sox. No, I want to say the Reds.
And didn't he play at Florida State? I think he was a Florida State Seminole.
He did.
I think so.
Florida guy.
He had his own baseball card.
You said what?
I saw his baseball card.
It is an expensive one, too.
Randy Poffo.
Surprised you don't have it.
It's a minor league card.
What is it, Randy Poffo?
It's tough to get,
Randy Poffo.
You know that there's a 1982 John Elway baseball card as well? And then, of course, you saw the Danny Ainge.
With the Yankees?
Danny Ainge played 3 sports. Check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maz, Dr. Pierce.
Yeah,
There it is.
Let's go. You saw him today on Big D Energy. You're going to see him with us on Thursday. Do not miss out. Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He's here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. Trust the guy that DMac trusts. It's his birthday, by the way. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game, guys. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com. 248-426-9944. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, guys, it is almost here. This Friday, not only is it Anson's birthday, but it is opening day for the Tigers, Friday, April the 4th. Join us, Woodward Sports, for the biggest and best party in the D. It's the Grand Slam Festival, the outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. The broadcast brought to you by Mad Packs and White Claw. Don't miss it, guys. We're going to be there all day long. Get your tickets today at GrandSlamDetroit.com. GrandSlamDetroit.com. It's Woodward Sports opening day, brought to you by Mad Packs and White Claw. We'll see you for Anson's birthday, Friday, down at the stadium.
Hey, I got the haircut from the right spot because it's wicked awesome. And I'm talking about Lady Jane's. They've taken the chore out of getting your haircut since 2004. Let their talented stylists deliver that industry-leading haircut. You get the relaxing scalp massage, the hot lather neck shave, and of course the hot towel treatment. They're open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, as we know, it's wicked awesome.
My apologies, man. I was opening up my check, which is very light. Man, somebody sent me a great one in. A friend of mine, Satchel Paige.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Satchel
Paige, the oldest MVP, oldest rookie of the year in any. Oh, Jesus Christ, he was getting after it. Oldest rookie of the year in any other four major North American sports.
Top 3 was tough. I could, like we said, we'd do top 10, top 40.
You can keep remembering guys.
Yeah, you just keep popping them in.
Yeah, just give me just give me like 50.
Jim Thorpe.
Give me 50.
Jim Thorpe,
the Native American All-American in 7.
How about Jesse Owens running against Hitler?
Dude, that's
Hitler
great. Jesse Owens would have
having to come home to race horses.
How about Len Bias? And let's just
what he could have been.
Talk him out of a few things.
Not on draft night, please.
Number 2 pick overall, 85? Or 80?
The Boston Celtics.
What could have been?
Year after Jordan, right? Or year before?
I think it was the year before.
Year after.
83.
Year after, right? Yeah.
83. Shout out to you. Anson, all right. This weekend, 2 of our teams played. Neither one of them made it through the weekend. Michigan State did, in fact, win against Ole Miss on Friday night. Michigan losing to Auburn, who would eventually beat Michigan State Sunday. Before we get to what happened today, the news, where are you at what happened this weekend for the Michigan Spartans? Michigan State Spartans.
Listen, Michigan played a team that they just didn't match up that well with. They've got very athletic bigs. And again, shout out to Dusty May for taking a team from as bad as they were to as good as they were this year. But you misused Danny Wolf all darn game long. And I don't really understand what they were trying to do with him.
He had 18 at the half.
And he should have had another 18 in the second half.
Couple turnovers by him. Okay, agreed.
And they just don't run a pick and roll with him the way that they could. They could start it up on top and do so many things with him. That being said, awesome year for the Wolverines. I am a big Danny Wolf fan. I'm excited to see if he declares and to where he could go. I think he could possibly be a lottery pick at the end, 14, 15-ish. The Spartans, same deal, man. I mean, this is a team that the expectations weren't high to start the season. They got better and better as the season went on. You know, you plug Jace Richardson as a freshman into the starting lineup, and things take off from there. Both these teams ran into a hell of an Auburn squad. The SEC, no doubt, was the best conference in basketball this season. With NIL happening, I was just looking a few days ago at both of these teams. I'm like, these guys are returning some nice teams.
Both unathletic big man. That was the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Both of Michigan State's big man had nothing for Auburn's big man.
Nothing at all. And, shout out to Fiddler. That guy was the most misused guy with the Spartans. I felt like that guy should have been their sixth man. He plays a smart game like Austin from L.A. And Austin Reeves is basically my comp to the kid. And they brought him in at stretches in that game where I thought he was very effective throughout the tournament. There was times in that Michigan State game where I hated the officiating. They were letting them play physical, but they weren't. But it doesn't matter. As good as the Spartans did play, and I felt that they played pretty darn good, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. They couldn't put a basketball into a swimming pool. And if you can't hit shots, you don't have outside shooting. Neil Rule said it. The three-point and outside shooting was going to do this team in, and eventually it caught up with them. But honestly, a fantastic year from both of our Michigan college basketball teams.
So as a Michigan State fan, are you Elite Eight? Are you comfortable with that for a successful season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to get past the Sweet 16. Making the Final Four is tough. We drew a really rough bracket.
But you're Michigan State.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I want a Final Four. Final Four to me that's really the measuring stick.
So you don't want to win a championship?
No, I want a championship match.
Because it's been 25
I want a match.
years.
I want a championship. I want him to get his second. I want Tom Izzo to be in that unquestioned echelon.
That's not going to happen.
When can it happen? If it didn't happen this year?
It's not, because as you bring it up, what just happened today? That's where we're going with the information.
Trey Holloman's gone.
He gone.
Transferring out of there. I shot that to my daughter earlier, and she was like, "What? What are you kidding?" I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I had to check it 2-3 times. But it's real.
Let's go.
This is what I'm going to say, and I'll let you take it after this. Pause. This has nothing to do with Michigan State. This conversation is not a Michigan State. This isn't a troll. This isn't the backdoor Michigan State comment. It's just the Big Ten. Nowadays, for these kids, it's not about winning. For Tom Izzo, it's about winning. For Tom Izzo, it's about doing it the right way. For Tom Izzo, it's about teaching you the landscape of basketball so I can actually help you in life as well. It's about all that. It's about the NCAA, but it's about all of the equation. These kids don't care about that no more. Oh. This is what these kids care about, which I understand. I would be the same way. I would assume in this climate. Money is number one. Who's paying the bread? Who's got the money? Because it's not Michigan State right now. That's what the chirping is out of East Lansing. Second is, where is it fun at? Because all these players, they talk to their boys that they play AAU ball with. They talk to the guys that they know through camps, through social media. Yo, man, what's it like in Florida? What they talking about? What's the bag look like? What's the
Arizona?
girls look?
How's Arizona?
What's the bras look like? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. What's it like in Kansas? No, I'm good. I ain't going to Kansas. What Rick Pitino like? Oh, hell no, I ain't going there. They don't want to go where the coaches are hard asses, for lack of a better word, where they're trying to educate you, teach you. If you're not Duke, they're not going there for basketball. Like, if it's not Duke, players aren't going for basketball. I'm going for the bag, which you can back up to my house like Ricky Rowe and Blue Chips. And I'm going for the fun, the vibes. What sponsors do you have there? What are your donor situations like? Who can I meet so that when I'm done with basketball, if the NBA my calling, who can I meet like a Steve Ross who went to Michigan? I could bump elbows with him. That's now what you're looking for. You don't care about winning, which this is the landscape the NCAA allowed the NIL to create. They don't care about winning.
I hate to admit this, but I nearly went to ASU over MSU for almost all of those
The number
reasons.
one party school in the country.
Hey,
Playboy All-American.
Not a whole lot of girls suntanning at East Lansing in the middle of January. This is the truth, all right? Yeah. You hit on some things there that I've had an issue with Tom Izzo for a long time. I love that he wants to do it the right way. I love that he wants to give these kids a 4-year experience and graduate them into the real world or put them into the NBA with as much ability and skill that he could push on, or, teach to them as possible. And that always kept them from getting the blue chip guys that were going to be gone in a year. And he said, I don't want these guys that are going to be gone in a year because of what it does to the team. But now you're in NIL. And it doesn't even matter if they're not good enough to go into the NBA because they still might leave anyway. You had a 6th man who just defended the logo, who every Spartan in the country loves. And now we're waking up to hearing him go. And it's not because this is a bad team. It's not because he was fighting with the coach. I know obviously he probably was a little bit, but this, like you said, it's a money thing. It's a warm thing.
And
it's a
that
where are
shows
my
you.
friends thing. And so you look at Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo would have 2 or 3 championships if he was willing to bring in guys that he knew would be in the NBA after their freshman year. He's never really been willing to do that. You look at the very few players that have left after 1 year, there's just a tiny, tiny list here. So I think that he hurt himself in his legacy by not doing it the new way or the current way of the NCAA and trying to do it the old way. And now he's stuck because you have to do it this way now.
Yeah, look, in the words of Neil Rule, who you brought up, 2 things can be true. I think thing one, I think Trey Holloman, I think he definitely supports Michigan State. I think he definitely backs Tom Izzo.
And we support you, Trey.
I think that message that Tom Izzo dropped on Thursday night or Friday, well, I think it was Thursday night, that got those guys motivated. That reminded him of why he went to Michigan State. So I think he definitely has love for Michigan State. I think he definitely has a sense of school pride in Michigan State. He just also goes to school in an era where you can go get that bag. And 2 things can be true. He loves Michigan State, but he, one, probably does not believe that Michigan State's going to win a national championship.
Right.
Nor does he care.
Correct.
Nor does he care. That's the thing. It's one, probably doesn't think Michigan State will win it, but he doesn't care.
To me, though, this is crazy because I'm looking at who they're returning, and what did we lose? Kohler and Akins? And that's it? I mean, you're taking Akins' job over immediately. You're in the starting lineup. And if I would have asked Michigan people, Michigan State people, what's the one guy on this team that's not going to leave? It's the guy that was checking up some Wolverine players at the logo and holding it down for Michigan State. So it's shocking. I think that this is the first major loss that I've felt as a Spartan to NIL. And unfortunately, it's just something we're going to have to get used to as college sports fans.
It wasn't fun. And I guarantee you that's where his thought process is, Maz. He's like, look, it's too much like what it used to be like. These kids, they don't want that. They don't want to dial in like Tom Izzo is making them dial in. Like now he's like, all right, I got past this season. You know, we got to Elite 8. We got to Elite 8. Didn't work. All right, I'm ready to go. So I'm not ready to turn around and go back through that all over again. Not only am I not getting paid, I got to go back to East Lansing where it gets cold.
Get yelled at.
5 months out of the year, and it's going to be serious. I just don't want to go through that again.
How many Kenneth Walker type cases are there out there where guys transferred and completely changed their projection in a positive way? Who?
Joe Burrow.
Yep.
K9.
I can't really
Ewers,
think.
maybe?
What about in basketball? Because, like, to me, I'm just wondering, you know.
No, because basketball has always been cut and dry. Like, if you're good, you're either going to play 1 year in college and leave. You're going to play in overtime or G League and then leave. Or if you're top 3, that's what it is. If you get past year 1 in college, if you get to year 2, that's usually because you're not ready and you're not one of those type of players. And that's always been that case. That's the same.
I'm just, it's like I look at Shedeur Sanders, a guy that switched schools, gone through 6 offensive coordinators. Yeah. Consistency breeds success in my eyes. I mean, not for long. The changes in the NFL, that is the greatest predictor of losing is change. So, these young kids, I kind of feel bad for them. I get that you're getting this money, but I wonder how many of these kids that left for money cost themselves a future in the NBA, NFL, or whatever their respective league might be.
By the way, Buzz Williams just signed on as the Maryland
from Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, he came right at Texas A&M, right?
Yep, from Texas A&M.
These guys are moving.
Maryland's
man.
coach left.
Yeah.
Maryland's coach.
He went to Villanova.
Villanova, there you go.
Yeah,
he's a Big East guy.
Yep,
he's a Big East guy.
That's a good hire for Maryland. That's another good
hire.
thing for the Big Ten, who has not won a championship here in 25 years. And Bray, you brought it up. They probably can't. They probably can't win an NCAA championship the way they play ball.
They're not, because at the end of the day, like, there's 2 type of teams that wins national championships in college basketball. One, the team with the best player. Show me Carmelo Anthony in 2002, I'll show you a national title. Show me Anthony Davis in 2012, I'll show you a national title. They had other players on that team too, but AD was a monster. It's those teams. If it's not that team, great coaching. When I'm talking about great, it's got to be a Pitino-style coach. The other one, it's got to be Duke or North Carolina or Kansas. One of those blue bloods that have had the system in play for a very long time. That's it. That's all that's winning. And unfortunately, the Big Ten, if you look at both sports, football and basketball not since 25. Outside of Ohio State and Michigan, who's won the national championship in the Big Ten? The Big Ten is a conference where you will have extremely good play. You will be taught how to do it the right way. The fan bases will be loyal. It's all about doing it the right way and players that fit the roles, and they're a team. That's what the Big Ten is. And a lot of times those good teams, those good coaches and the good methods, they don't win national championships.
It's a good call.
They just don't. And that's the Big Ten, and that's what the Big Ten has been. The existence of my life, and I played in the Big Ten.
Michigan got another player.
Yes. He did.
Michigan signed
Turn up.
one of the North
Cadeau.
Carolina kids, the point guard from NC.
Elliot Cadeau.
Yep.
They need a point guard.
He's sweet, dude.
Guard play.
He's smooth.
Killed him.
Yeah.
He's smooth.
Yeah.
Really did. Donaldson's an intriguing player, but he's not bringing the ball up.
He's not your first
not
ball
creating
option.
his own shot. He's just a nice guy to have out there. If your Wolverines had a true point guard in the tournament, look out.
That is
They
one.
had Trey Burke, man. This team will be in the championship. This team will be in the championship. I don't know
That's
about
right.
that, but they would definitely be in the
I thought
final.
this literally was April Fool's.
I saw that.
7'2" Kansas center
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson has received a waiver for a 7th year of eligibility.
Stop it.
And he will enter the transfer portal.
Yes.
He averaged 17.5 points, 10 rebounds, and a point and a block a season. Massive addition to the portal. Now look, am I wrong? Is this April Fool's? I'm looking.
Let's operate in a space that is true. Okay.
How could it be true?
We don't know if it's true or not. Because this is like the Martinez being the quarterback in Nebraska.
Right.
Martinez
I didn't know
was
which
quarterback
Martinez
at
was
Nebraska
there.
for 18 years. This is the new Martinez story. Look, I mean,
How many years was Gillette kicking field goals for you guys? Because it felt like 12.
Mike Gillette.
I hated that guy.
How about Ali Haji Sheik?
he kicked, that was the kicker when my dad played.
And he went to the
Well,
Giants.
he was a little after, though.
He went to the Giants, almost won Rookie of the Year, and then fell off the face of the earth.
The chat's saying it's April Fool's, Maz.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Maz gets the porch again.
Come on, man.
What are you looking forward to? I meant to
I
ask
admitted
you
it before I said it.
Yeah, he admitted it.
April 4th.
I got you, Maz.
Your birthday. What would be a good birthday for you? Because I know it's coming up. I know opening day, the whole 9 yards. What would be a good birthday this Friday for Anson Wells?
Am I in Mexico or am I in Michigan?
This Friday, you're in Detroit, okay? You're downtown at opening day.
I would be waking up from my Thursday night party on 8 Mile. I won't mention where.
Okay.
Shout out Fox 2. Depending on how I feel, Friday
Lucky.
morning on my birthday, I will be getting my butt downtown. I'm hoping that the weather's right.
How's it? Where are we going with this? I'll be
No, I mean, listen, I've been doing the parties down there, huge tent party. Come and join us. 2,000 people. I've been doing it for 15 plus years. It's never fallen exactly on my birthday for an opening day. So I think it's pretty great to be able to get down there, see a lot of people I haven't seen, hang out with the Woodward crew, and hopefully the sun makes an appearance. That would be the perfect way to spend my birthday.
Man's best. Let's get a quick commercial break in. We'll
There we
get a
go.
message in from Caesars, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap the show. My apologies.
You good, everybody? Hey, guys, scan that QR code above my head. Use that code word over there to my right, to your left as you're watching. Woodward 1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Make your first deposit. Make a first bet of $20 or more. And if that first bet happens to lose, you get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head right there and use the code word Woodward 1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. We'll be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like DMac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Back to wrap up the day. Hell of a show out of you guys, man. A lot of fun that we have had on there. What you got going? Oh, you know what? Red Wings. I want to talk a little bit about the Red
Wings and Blues tonight.
Red Wings and Blues. Maz, where is your excitement? Excitement isn't the right word.
I'm still in it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I'm still in it.
What makes you still in it for the Red Wings?
Because they're only a point or two behind of making a jump, and I know they got to pass 3-4 teams. But as long as they're breathing, man, if they win tonight, I'm buying in still. Because last year they made a run. I know they're still shorthanded. I know they're not the team that they need to be.
Yeah.
But I do believe that they still have it in them, and I think Todd McKinnon will get the best out of them going forward at the to run this last 8 games out.
I was kind of looking at Anson, just kind of like last year with the run.
Todd McClellan.
I was looking at the game. I got you, Maz. And then looking at this year, it just seems like last year we were going at it with a bunch of teams that was right there with us. Teams that were like fighting for that last spot, teams that we can beat, teams that we had beat, teams you're like, I know they got Ovechkin, but this Capitals team is just okay. This year, this road is going through playoff teams. This is going through teams that have already made the playoff, teams that you know are going to make a deep run. So I just don't have that same level of it could happen. What could be? I just don't trust it this year.
Even after the Tigers made it last year?
I trust the Tigers. Because
Okay.
I trust A.J. Hinch.
Okay.
McClellan, I'm still trying to see what he is.
Yeah, the road that they just barely missed on last year and the road that they're taking this year, I think really puts them in a position to be that team that is firmly in the playoffs next year. I don't want to talk about ice hockey too much because I do got to pat myself on the back a little bit.
Oh, not that you never
4
did that.
brackets. Shouldn't have filled out the Woodward Sports one first because I got blown out. Pause. My fan bracket, my upset bracket, my Spartan bracket, but my 4th bracket, the accurate bracket, I sent to Maz the other night. I correctly picked the Elite 8 and the Final 4.
Wow.
With Duke winning it over Florida.
Nice.
So we shall see.
You
How
fill,
you looking?
you fill out 5 brackets. You don't get credit for
Right.
getting it right.
Well,
I got one bracket.
That's it, huh?
I have one bracket is the Woodward Sports bracket, and if you look at it right now, guess who has the Final 4? Everyone, because they're all number 1 seeds.
Yeah,
now the rest of my
wasn't that difficult this year.
The rest of my bracket is trash.
Yeah.
But the Final 4, I got all the team, and I picked Houston so that I could try to catch up on points because I know everybody's gonna pick Duke or Florida. So I got Houston winning it all, and I actually after that defensive performance, it might be
If
something.
MSU would have made it to the Final 4, I had a more than 60% chance of winning my New Jersey pool. I was the only guy that had the Spartans. I had the other 3 teams. So there you go. I'm done. Another year. Out the gut.
Have you guys ever picked the Final 4 before?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I did it one time in '92, and it was because my dad's girlfriend went to Cincinnati. Nick Van Exel.
Okay.
The Bearcats.
Van Exel.
Nick the Quick. Cincinnati had some players. Melvin Levitt was cold.
Danny Fortson.
Oh, 100%.
Names out of the
DeMar
past.
Johnson. Don't sleep on him.
How about
Badass
Skinny Legs?
Yellow Boy, a.k.a.
Skinny Legs.
Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, Skinny Legs.
Well, he had that tattoo on him. Like, remember he's dunking on people when he do that?
Oh, yeah.
The tattoo
That's right,
said,
dude.
Bad Yellow Boy.
I hated that guy so much aside from when he leveled Mr. Carmelo.
And he did that because
he's from the Sagnassi and he loves himself some Isaiah Thomas.
you don't mess with Detroit, man. Bad boys.
Bad boys, baby.
Hey, go Tigers tonight.
Go
Bad
Tigers.
boys.
Go Bad
Tigers.
Boys.
Hey, Seattle's Aces on the mound tonight. Guess what? Don't care. Still putting the
Casey
money on
Mize.
the Tigers. Go
Mize.
Casey Mize for my man Ricky Burns. Peace Spivak.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate you guys. Time Maz away. Anson Wells, Braylon was saying have an amazing Tuesday evening. See you tomorrow.